by Everyday Grace, if stories about quiet courage, unexpected kindness, and the beauty of second chances speak to your heart, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Everyday Grace, every week we bring you real and inspiring stories that remind us all that hope often arrives in the most ordinary moments. Sometimes the most life-changing visits begin with a broken fan and end with a heart finally being heard. He was just there to do a job, that's all Noah thought as he pulled up to the little yellow house with white shutters and a faded wind chime dangling from the porch. He'd had a long week, too many calls, too little sleep, and this was his last appointment of the day. A service request for a ceiling fan that had stopped working. He parked, grabbed his toolkit, and climbed the creaky porch steps, expecting a quick in-and-out fix. What he didn't expect was to meet someone whose life had quietly unraveled behind that door. He didn't know her story. Not yet, but when she opened the door, he knew something wasn't right. Her name was Mrs. Langley, Judith Langley. A woman in her early 60s, hair pinned back neatly, blouse buttoned to the collar despite the summer heat. She smiled politely when she answered, but it didn't reach her eyes. There was something hollow in her expression, like someone going through the motions of being okay. "I'm here to fix the fan," Noah said, offering a small, warm smile. "Yes, come in," she replied softly, stepping aside. "It's upstairs, in the room at the end of the hall." She didn't make eye contact, didn't ask for his name. She turned and disappeared into the kitchen before he even reached the staircase. Noah climbed the stairs, toolkit in hand, but his mind was lingering on the strange silence in the house. It was too quiet. Not peaceful, lonely. The fan, he discovered, was old, the wiring outdated, the motor burnt out. It would need a new unit entirely. He made a few notes on his clipboard, snapped some photos, and went back downstairs to let her know. She was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a mug of tea she hadn't touched. A picture frame rested beside the cup. Noah caught a glimpse of it. A man in uniform, a young girl, a smiling Judith between them. Long before the weight of the years settled in her posture, "I'll need to replace the motor," Noah said gently. "I can come back tomorrow if that works for you." She blinked like she was waking from a trance. "Yes, yes, of course." He hesitated, then added, "You okay, ma'am?" She looked up. Her mouth moved to say something, maybe a yes, maybe a lie, but instead her face crumpled. She pressed a trembling hand to her mouth and turned away. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to." "It's just been a hard day." Noah didn't push. He just nodded slowly and asked, "Would you like me to sit for a moment?" Judith looked at him, startled. No one had asked her that in months. And then, quietly, cautiously, she nodded. She didn't know why she started talking. Maybe it was the way he asked. Or maybe it was because he didn't look at her like she was broken. He looked at her like she was still here, still a person, even beneath the grief. Her husband, Michael, had passed away 8 months earlier. A retired firefighter, he had spent his life running toward burning buildings, toward chaos. But he couldn't outrun the cancer. It came fast, cruel, and left Judith with a silence that seemed to echo through every room in their house. Their daughter, Emma, lived states away, pregnant with her first child. Judith didn't want to burden her. She pretended to be strong and every phone call said, "I'm fine," more times than she could count, but she wasn't fine. She hadn't been for months. "I still sleep on one side of the bed," she said, eyes glossy. "I leave his chair by the window like he'll come back and sit in it. Some days I get angry the fan doesn't work because it feels like even the house is giving up." Noah listened. Not like someone waiting for their turn to speak, but like someone truly hearing. He didn't try to fix her pain with words. He didn't offer CLHE acute S. He just said, "I'm really sorry you're going through this." The next day, he came back early. Judith greeted him with a fresh cup of coffee and a shy smile. He noticed the photo frame had been turned to face outward this time, like a quiet invitation. As he worked on the fan, she brought him cookies, then sat nearby and told him about Michael's laugh, how it filled the house. She told him how she used to be a music teacher, how she hadn't touched the piano since the funeral. When he finally turned the fan on and it whirred to life, Judith gasped. Not because of the cool air, but because something had shifted inside her. The silence had been interrupted, a sign of movement, of change. "I didn't realize how much I needed that sound," she said, tears in her eyes again, but this time, they weren't just from sadness. There was relief there, too. Over the next few weeks, Noah stopped by now and then off the clock. Sometimes just to say hello. Sometimes to fix little things she'd been too afraid to ask for help with. He brought her books, told her about his sister's kids, shared stories from the road, and one day as he was leaving, Judith called out, "Would you like to hear me play?" He turned, smiled. "I'd love to." She walked to the piano, gently lifted the lid, and rested her fingers on the keys. The music was soft, shaky at first, but it poured from her like a river that had been blocked for too long. The house wasn't silent anymore. 6 months later, Judith was at her daughter's side in the delivery room, cradling a healthy baby. Boy, his name? Michael Noah. She had found her way through the fog. She had started volunteering at a local school, teaching music part-time. She had friends again. A reason to wake up in the morning, not because Noah had fixed her life, but because he saw her. Because someone noticed the tears she tried to hide. Didn't look away. If you stayed with us until the end, thank you. This story, like so many we share here on Everyday Grace, reminds us that even the smallest act of kindness can reach places we don't even realize are broken. A broken fan. A quiet conversation. A life beginning again, like this video if it moved you. Share it with someone who might need a reminder that healing often begins with being seen. And don't forget to subscribe to Everyday Grace, because sometimes the grace we need is waiting in the most unexpected moments.